Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education Research Center here at Murray State University. And welcome back to 10 at 10. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Grow West, the Technology Council of West Kentucky, KY Innovation, and our local partner, Sprocket Innovation in Paducah, and the Kentucky Innovation Station in Madisonville. Last week, we spent some time looking back at what we can learn from the year and really past couple of years regarding ransomware. And I wanted to continue that discussion by looking at some of the areas where these threat actors are turning. But before I do that, I want to make sure I reiterate a couple of points from last week. First of all, this is a business. These are criminals. It's criminal organizations. They're despicable. It's illegal, immoral, all those things. But for them, this is a business. Ransomware the rise of ransomware has been because they're making money and they want to make more money. So think about your business, your organization, wherever it is that you work. If you're selling a product that's not as successful as it could be, or there's another product that's more successful, what do? You change and try to improve that product. Well, that's the same thing that's happening with ransomware. What is it? What's the outcome that a ransomware gang wants? They want you to pay the ransom. What's a reason you might not pay the ransom? Last week we talked about in some states it's illegal to pay the ransom. Also, if you pay the ransom, you are expecting to get your data back. Some of the decryption algorithms aren't as good as they should be, and there's some corruption. So you may get 90% of the files back, but the other 10% of the files will be corrupted. So they're trying to improve their process to make sure that you get what you pay for. So some are actually even going to the point of, let's not even encrypt the data. Let's just copy the data and then delete it off of your computer so that when you pay, we have the raw data to get back to you to make sure that it's not corrupted. The point is, these ransomware gangs are trying to modify the ransomware attacks to make sure that you're paying. And another reason that they think you'll pay is because if you don't, then that data they stole is going to appear on the dark web for people to see. So those secret confidential files that you have, others may see. Frankly, that has not been as big of a deterrent as they thought it would be. It's a deterrent for some, but not as much as they thought. Anyway, it's going to continue to evolve. It's going to continue to get worse. In the criminal's mind, they're going to continue to improve their product to make it harder on us. But they're also going to look at other avenues, and that's what I want to talk about today. What are other avenues of attacking you, of attacking me, of attacking us, our organizations? One that is becoming popular and actually is been significantly on the rise as of late, as ransomware success went down, business email compromise has gone up. And business email compromise is not new. It's been around for a while. It's pretty straightforward. And it's actually essentially what happens is the cyber criminal will do some reconnaissance, collect some information on the company that they're wanting to target. And then they'll send a series of emails through social engineering, exchanging information that essentially says, here's an invoice, here's a payment. Will you transfer this money to that account? And because of their ability to social engineer, because of their ability to trick you, you do it. Now, it may be that they steal the account of your CEO. So the email comes from the CEO. The CEO says, pay this bill. So I do what my boss says. I pay the bill. It could be because there's a phone call. It could be that there's a vendor that sends you information. The vendor may say, hey, if you don't pay this today, it's going to cost you 15% more tomorrow. So you pay it because there's a sense of urgency. There's a number of different reasons why people will make these payments. But isn't business email compromise can be very bad for an organization. Facebook and Google were scammed out of $121 million. Ubiquity, which is a technology vendor, $46.7 million. Toyota, $37 million. So my point with this is that this is not something that is simple, and it's only going to happen to people that aren't paying attention. It happens to everybody. It happens to people in our region, in our community. It happens to global companies as well. A couple of trends I want to share. FBI reported that 2.4 billion in victim losses to business email compromise scams in 2021, which was more than ransomware. Now, let me give the caveat that you have to report the data for this to be included. So if it's what has been reported, 65% increase in business email compromise across the globe. Cryptocurrency is being used for that as well. Pretexting accounted for 27% of social engineering breaches, almost all of which are business email compromise. Essentially, they're not a cyber criminal is not going to come out and immediately say, "Hey, send me your money." There's going to be some exchange of information to establish their bona fides, if you will, so that there's a relationship. So then when I ask you to pay the invoice, it's more believable. So some ways to mitigate business email compromise attacks. This is just a few that I found online. I think these came from Deloitte. Be aware of common business email compromise attack scenarios. Know that if somebody sends you a invoice, if you're not expecting it, double check it. Make sure, even if you're in a company where it is maybe not easy to double check. Make sure. Train employees to recognize business email compromise attacks. Create a culture of compliance. Hopefully, through your regular and annual audits that your organization has, there are some checks and balances that have been established. Make sure that you follow those checks and balances. Anytime you alter from that, it makes it more likely that somebody is going to fraud you. Even if there's a sense of urgency, double check. Make sure that that's going to happen, or that it truly is an invoice or something that should be paid. Build a layered defense with technical controls. There are a number of things that you can do in your organization to protect yourself. There's people, there's technical controls, and there's processes. Anything that you do to protect your organization should have all three of those layers in it. Now, it comes in a variety of pictures or a variety of implementations. I'm not saying that it should be exactly a third. It's going to depend on where in the flow of security that you're in. But all of those, everything that we do should have a layered defense. We don't want one person in our organization, even if it's the CFO, to be the only layer of defense for our finances. We want to have multiple layers. We want to have checks and balances. It's an important piece. And to that point, optimizing accounting systems and controls. If we're looking at these pieces and being on high alert for business email compromise attacks, then we should minimize the risk of us getting hit with a business email compromise attack. Is that going to do everything? No. Is that going to help? Certainly. So business email compromise attacks are on the rise. They're on the rise in our region. They're on the rise with small businesses, with large businesses, with all businesses in between. And that is one that we need to be on lookout for. So be careful, keep an eye out. If you have questions on that and want some additional information, let me know. I'd be happy to share and go over that in more detail with you on a phone call or in person. Just let me know. I appreciate you joining me for 10 at 10 today. I hope you enjoy your Christmas coming up this weekend, and I will see you back here next week on 10 at 10. Thank you. Bye.